Well, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the allotment. It's the 2nd of September today, and it's been about a month since I did an update video, so I thought before I got started on doing too much else today, I'd do an update. Life has been pretty hectic, hence why it's been a month. That's all I really want to say about that. I have been coming down fairly regularly, but to be honest, I haven't felt like recording a video, and with so much sort of going on, it's been really kind of difficult to actually carve out any time to do much else. And as I say, what has been going on isn't really something that I want to discuss on YouTube or my blog or anywhere else for that matter. So comments on it have been fairly brief. So where should we start? Let's start with devastation, or rather badger damage. My sweet corn, as you can see, basically I'm not the only one that suffered from this. A few other plot holders have had the same thing. The badgers have been in and basically pushed over the corn, taken the cobs that they could find. It's interesting, all of the stalks that didn't have corn on, they haven't touched, so they or weren't ripe. They were quite clever. I think we've actually managed to get out of, I don't know how many plants were here now, but 2 cobs which we ate last night. They weren't very big. They were very nice, very tasty, but the badgers have had the rest, and they just don't care. They leave their remains behind, and if they're not ripe, like that one's not particularly, but as you can see, they just munch their way through. They also had the scarecrow over, which I hope gave them a bit of a fright when it came down, at least. I don't really mind, I guess. I think at the end of the day, they're only trying to get to them to eat them like we would. I know, as I say, others on this site have had the same problems. Those that have fenced. Right, let me show you. The plot behind me, she's got hers fenced, but they managed to overcome the fencing and do pretty much the same thing. So I think only those sites that have really gone to town on the fencing have managed to get away with it. So there you go. While we're up here, things that are doing well, cucumbers. So this is the first year. These are supposed to just train along the ground, but this year I decided to try and train them a little bit up some canes, and we've been getting really good size. So just for comparison, it's my hand, so they're a good size. I've got loads of the things. I've got a salad drawer in the fridge at home that's full of them, and I reckon there are at least 3 or 4 on there that are worth harvesting today, so that's doing well. Courgettes are doing well as well. As you can see, getting quite a lot of slug damage this year. As you can see, there's a bit of a blemish on there. It doesn't really hurt too much, but I'd rather the slugs didn't do that. And we're getting yellow ones as well. You can see a couple in there. And then pumpkins are doing really well. So we've harvested one already, and I think I did do a quick video about how to tell if your pumpkin was ripe. So I've got 2 there, one there, and another one just there. So they're doing well, and I'm pleased with those. It's been a season of, or a year of mixed fortunes, really. You may not remember, but if you look in the last video, there were lettuce and beetroot here that had failed to germinate, so I'm now getting this bit ready for overwintering crops. So this, I've dug some of it. I'm going to dig to where the scarecrow is, probably, because that's where the potatoes were. So this was the potatoes this season just gone, and I'm going to overwinter broad beans on it. this winter, so that we've got them for the spring. So they'll be next to the leeks over the winter. But yeah, things like that just haven't gone well, and I think onions will go where the sweet corn are currently when I've cleared those, but for the moment I'm just leaving that to its own devices. But the weeds are growing pretty well. It's about the only thing that has consistently grown well as it normally does. Overwintering broccoli, I think I had these in, or was about to plant these in my last video. So as you can see, they're doing really well. It's interesting though, you can see if I pan right to left, the plants actually get smaller. I don't know whether that's just because the ones at this end get a little bit more light, a little bit more direct sunlight. The sun is just to the kind of top right of the frame at the moment, and it pans across during the day, but I don't know. It's the only thing I can think, that they're just getting a bit more light, because they look healthy plants, they're just smaller, so they're not growing as fast. So I suspect they'll catch up eventually. I am going to move the netting from this set of broccoli, I'll show you that in a sec, and put it over here. My carrots are doing well, although they are now starting to split just because of sporadic weather. Gherkins, again, they're doing well, and I did pickle some. I think I've posted photos on Instagram, so I might I'll slot those into the video here if I can, and you can have a look at those. They won't be ready for about another 3 weeks, I think. Kale, purple sprouting broccoli, red kale's all doing really well. Turnips, not doing so well. Let me just lift that off so you can have a look. Just not forming roots, so you can see that there's just no turnip there. There's plenty of leaf, although it's been a bit munched, probably by flea beetle I expect. But yeah, no turnip, so probably they're not going to do very well. I might end up taking those out in due course. The broccoli, Calabrese broccoli, has been doing fantastically and is still producing, as you can probably see, side shoots. I did think last weekend was going to be the last weekend we were going to get anything off of it, but I can see, looking, there's 2 or 3 small bits that will make a bit of a meal tonight, so that's good. Now apples, unfortunately I didn't video the tree in its final glory, but I did video the phenomenal amount of apples that we got off of it. I've been asked a few times by different people on the plot, oh, do they keep well? And I've just turned around and said, well, actually I don't know, because we've never had this quantity before. Normally we've had, you know, a good crop that's lasted a few weeks, but I don't know, is the short answer. How long they'll keep? I hope they'll keep well. I am planning to pickle some and make some jams and things, but I actually have no idea how well they keep, because we've just never had enough that have lasted long enough to be able to tell. So I will again drop the video in that I did take on my phone. I think it was last weekend when I harvested them, just so that you can see what the harvest looked like. But it was a lot, and we're still not through those that were kind of, I did very carefully when I took them off, was checking them for marks and things, and we had a small box that had blemishes or fell when I was picking them, and we've still, you know, not more than a dozen or so, couple of dozen maybe, and we're still getting through those, and we've made apple cake, apple muffins, apple crumble, lots of different things, and it hardly seems to have made a dent. They're kind of between a cooker and an eater, so you can eat them, and I did in fact have one the other day, and they're very nice. They've just got an enormous quantity of them, and I'm not quite sure, you know, whether they will keep long enough to be consumed, or whether the birds will end up benefiting as well. We'll see. But yeah, I'll drop that video in here now so you can have a look. So it's apple harvest time, and we have off of one tree got all these apples. Never known to have so many. So moving on, finally, just a word about this sunflower, which has been pretty spectacular, I have to say. You can see most of it's going over now, but it's still got a few small blooms down the bottom here. Didn't sow it, it just grew. I have to say this, I know two things. I have grown sunflowers up here in the past, and this is also the site where we had the compost bin, so it's possible that it's a volunteer from there, but we definitely didn't sow any this year, and we've had a couple. There was one which you can't see because of the sunlight over on that corner as well. So it's been nice to have sunflowers without actually sowing any. So that's it for now. I'm not sure when the next update will be. I will try and do one at least once a month if I can, but as I say, things have been a bit busy and my mind has been elsewhere, let's just put it that way. So watch this space, but I hope wherever you are, you're having a good weekend, and or have had a good weekend, depending on how long this takes for me to edit and post. And I'll speak to you again soon. Take care now, bye bye.